Okay, we're going to use this as about a 10 or 15 minute little reset to get our body moving and just sort of work through any imbalances that we're feeling and just get a little bit more lengthened and stretched and just kind of keep our body a little more tuned up, especially when we're working harder than we've been working for a while. So the first thing we're going to do is just start really, really nice and loose, kind of taking the weight and bringing it to the front of your feet and then the back of your feet, just finding that nice little balance from back to front. And then coming to the center point where you kind of feel like both feet have the same sort of weight. And then you're going to think about bending your knees, and then you're going to tuck your tailbone under to create this pelvic tilt. And then you're going to send it back in another pelvic tilt. So opposite motions. You're going to tuck it under. Exhale as you do that. You're going to bring it in. Try to keep your knees in alignment with your ankles. You can always take a wider step if this feels better. So you tuck under and send it back. Okay, on the next one, you're gonna tuck, you're gonna round through the back, not the shoulders, but the back. You're gonna think about your upper back, reach your arms behind you, reach out as far as you can and pull really, really slow. So looking down towards the floor can be really helpful here. It allows you to keep that neck in that kind of flexion there so that you've got that stretch all the way to the upper back. Now thinking about your upper back and your abdominals, lift up. All right, you're gonna take a second, you're gonna think about reaching forward a little bit, so almost putting the weight on the balls of your feet, reaching up, taking a breath, relaxing your shoulders, thinking about your chest. And then you're gonna grab two ropes behind you, so elbows are behind the ears, you're gonna contract, you're gonna pull down, you're gonna lift, you're gonna press out. You can add the breath when you're doing the bigger parts. We're gonna do it again, a little faster. You tuck, reach behind you using the upper back to pull the hands together at the back, and then release the shoulder blades back towards the back of the room a little more. Press your feet into the floor, lift up, take a big breath, arms go a little further out. You can try flipping your palms towards me. Open, reach, pull, thinking about the upper back the whole time, keeping the feet connected to the floor and even weight between them, and press down. Again, the tuck first, the reach second, the opening through the shoulder blades third, remembering that we're trying to contract our abdominals at the same time and pulling up, 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 taking ourselves slightly forward, flipping your palms if you want, separate your arms away from your head, open, grab ropes, pull, so keep thinking about the upper back, and then press and open. All right, now, you're gonna round through your back, take a slightly wider step. You can turn your feet out a little bit if you want to, as long as there's still even weight from sides. This time you're gonna round, you're gonna hold on to a big ball. This ball is gonna be like the size of a beach ball. You're gonna lift up over it and pull down. So we're really gonna think on the way up of lifting through the front of the body and then rounding over and stretching the back. Always feel free to take that wider step if you want, breathing in, lifting up, bringing it out, and looking down when your hands come down, trying to keep your arms connected to your shoulders and your back. So try not to get them connected to the top of your shoulders or your neck. Think about the back, the scapula, and then the spine. All right, after that one, you're gonna reverse it. You're gonna get underneath, you're gonna reach up, bend your knees first, reach, take a big breath, rock your weight forward, open. You can lift one arm up, you're gonna start to get into the sides, reach it up a little higher. Think about keeping this hip lifted at the same height here, but lift away. So now press the same foot into the floor, reach up towards the ceiling, take that arm, slide it back, and then switch. Lift, take a big breath, think about reaching up towards the ceiling. As you do this, make sure your hip doesn't shift up, pull back, and reach. Flip your palms, bring your weight forward, open your chest, and jet your chin forward. Push your arms back, open up through the chest. Okay, take a bit of a wider step. We'll start with your right arm, lift it up, and as you reach towards the ceiling, you're gonna bend into the opposite knee. And then you're gonna take this arm and you're gonna cross it over. You're gonna keep this hip high, rotate, both feet are on the floor, and reach up. Take a big breath. Arm goes up, so you don't lift next to the head, you pull it back, open. Other side, you're gonna lift. As this arm goes up, Bend into this one so you feel like there's a big X on your body. Pull down. Try contracting your legs at the same time. If you want a little more loosening, and then scoop up, flipping the palm towards me, reaching, opening the chest back, pressing and bending into the opposite knee. We're going to do that again. So a couple of things you can start thinking about. As you do this, if you squeeze your muscles in your abdominals, in your legs, even in your arms to some degree, you're going to feel like it's really working to create this mobility by giving you more length. If, however, you're feeling really tired and you feel like you need just a little bit of a stretch, do it loose, and it'll work through the body and kind of rebalance out stuff you've been working too hard on all day. Lift up, take a big breath, and press back. Okay, 2 more. Lift, try to lift the arm while you bend this one. See what that does for the inner thigh. You're crossing the body, you're thinking about the back, and then you're thinking about the front. And then you're bringing it open. Bend the elbow in that one. Okay, lift the arm while you bend this knee. Reach, cut. So keep the hips high. Relax the neck as the hand comes down, the head comes down. As the arm comes up, the head comes up. And press. Okay, you're gonna go in the side lunges that we do. I want you to think about your hips. Try to keep the connection between your shoulder blades over your hips the whole time. If you find that your feet are having a hard time in this position, take a shorter step or don't come down as deep. If you're really strong and you're feeling like you can go lower, you can always just come a little lower as long as that baby toe doesn't leave the floor. You're gonna go up to the right side, you're gonna go up, over, and then pause. Press into this foot, lift, up, over. Count for 3, 2, 1, and lift. We'll do 3 more. It's out, 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 lift. Out, 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 lift. Remember the really good trick of squeezing your muscles when you do it. If you want to add a little more mobility or loosening them if you want to create a little more stretch. Totally up to you how much you want to put into, and maybe up to how you work today. You're going to go out, 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 up. Really lifting from under the ribcage. 2, 3, and then using that spot to lift. All right, you're going to take this arm up. You're going to think. We're going to get into the hip flexor. We're going to move into the lower part of the body. You're going to press down. And then you're going to pause, and you're going to do that internal rotation. Oh, I almost lost my balance there. And you're going to lift. I want you to feel the way your arm, and then release and sweep, open. Oh, you lost my arm, and bring it up. Okay, we're going to go to the other side. Think about the way when you press down, you feel your back, and you even feel the front to some extent, keeping you in place. And then when you release and you turn that foot in, you're finding this big line, and you're lifting up, you're pulling, squeezing that back glute the way we did in those lunges. Keep the belly button pulled in, and then reach out, pull back, and lift. Let's do that one more time on each side. You lift, you press. So you're not dropping the hip, you're pushing it down. And then you release the fingers, you let them get heavy, and then you lift up with the entire front of the body. Oh, almost lost our balance again. And pull back. And then you sweep, and you find length through the front again. Up. Other side. We're gonna lift, we're gonna step back a little bit so you can see my whole body. Lift, press, release, and as this foot turns in, so does the arm. And then lift it up, press that back heel into the floor, really reach, pull the belly button in, squeeze the glute, and release. Now if you ever feel those in the low back, you don't come down as far, take a big breath, release that. You never have to go really big in those for them to be effective. All right, so after we've done that one, we're gonna go into a little cat-cow. I want you to remember, you're gonna try to lift from the mid-spine and the low spine. So try to create space between your sacrum and maybe like L2. Take a breath in, take a breath out, tuck your bum under, lift down towards the floor, press the floor away. And then release and pull your chest towards the front of the mat as you send your hips back. Your back is super flat here. Okay, again. Take a big breath in,
Press out, thinking about drawing the tailbone towards the face, curling up to about L2, L3, and then release. So what we want is the space. One more time, take a big breath, curl, is we want to work this space. We don't want to go much higher than mid-back, because in this, to mobilize that low spine will allow us to get into the hips and the legs and the quads. All right, which we're gonna do right here. Okay, so you're gonna come to seated. You're gonna think about, start with your feet straight out. You're gonna think about your feet first. You're gonna flex them, point them. Flex them, just switch your toes, point them. Okay, so really think. I'm going to flex, flex again, point, point again, flex, flex again, point, point again. One more time, and then can you make little circles in and out? My feet are really, really tight right now. You're gonna go out and in, out and in. Get those feet moving, out and in. You're gonna feel it in your calf as well. You can always put your heels down on the floor and let that go. All right, so I want you to pull your abdominals up, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Think about lifting out of the spine from the mid-spine now and pressing your hip bones into the floor. So it's two directionals, hip bones down, arms up, reach. Take one arm, pull it down, stretch. So you're gonna get the top of the hip, switch. Take one arm, I might have to move a little bit. You're gonna reach that arm behind you. Yeah, I don't have to shift forward, sorry. Open, pull. So you're trying to keep your arms in the same plane, and then you're gonna lift. You're gonna switch. So pull one arm down, other one forward, pull. Good, we're gonna bring it back up. Okay, do that again, but this time, you're gonna go up, saw my wrist releasing there, reach, pull across to the opposite foot, point the foot that you're not reaching towards and take a big breath in, big breath out, come down a little further. Try not to round your back, try to pull it behind you, big breath in, big breath out. Make sure the opposite hip doesn't lift off the floor, big breath in, big breath out, bring it back up. Same leg is gonna cross over, you're gonna get into this spot. You're gonna think about wrapping your arm around, and when you lift, make sure this foot stays down, you're gonna reach and wrap. And you're gonna think, can I feel the way my hip bones sit on the floor, and I can rotate and feel a stretch along the outside? Yeah, and then bring it back. You can stay in that a little longer if you wanted to, and then the other side. Lift, you pull first, try to keep your shoulders still over the hips. Reach, but reach over to the opposite foot. Make sure this one's pointed. Take a breath in, take a breath out, breathe in. Make sure your opposite hip isn't lifting off the floor, otherwise you're gonna lose that stretch in the deepest part of the IT band, just near the hip. Big breath in, big breath out. Keep settling that hip onto the floor, and bring it back. Okay, we'll get a little quad, and then you'll be done. It's just a short little tune-up. So I actually like, and you might lose me here a little bit, but I actually like having a little bit of a bend in my bottom knee. I'm gonna pull my leg down and back. I'm gonna stretch the quad. So the closer the knees are together, the more intense it is. Make sure that, I'm gonna drop my hand, make sure that you don't feel like you're moving from the back or the pelvis. You're literally trying to slide that quad back. Take a breath in, take a breath out, slide back. Try pulling your belly button in, and that's gonna keep you pretty connected to the lowest part of your abdominals. And when that's connected, it's gonna help support your low back. And you maybe get a deeper stretch in that quad. One more time in, one more time out. And then bring it back and give it a little shake. So this was just a really, and we're gonna go to the other side. This was a really quick version of what we typically do. What I want you to notice is that we went through your entire chain. You could do it over again if you wanted to, if you found that helpful. So sliding the hips, oh, there's my balance. Sliding the hips a little forward, pulling the leg back, taking a breath in, taking a breath out, making sure this is never right in your kneecap or right in your hip, right? What you want to think about, take a breath in, is trying to reach, and breath out as you slide back, trying to reach the heel towards the bum, but not with your kneecap, with your quad muscle. Take a breath in, Take a breath back. Try to keep your hips stacked so they're one on top of the other. You can see me shaking, losing my balance. Take a breath in and out. And bring it back. Okay, so that's just a quick little reset. I hope that helps just after the end of a day. You can always do it once or twice, or you can do it right after you're finished training. Super quick and helps to rebalance. Thanks.